Hey, it's Robert McKay here today reporting from Victoria Park in Moncton, where we've just completed a community memorial service for those who have died in the last year, struggling with addictions, with homelessness, and generally not seen, heard, remembered really, and this was a day to remember them in Moncton today. Large number of people from the community, perhaps 70 or 80 people from the community showed up. A key centerpiece of it was a tree that had the names of the people who had died during that year. So the media co-op today had a chance to speak to several folks for their opinions on the event, and we'll be showing those clips here. And here today we have John Renton with the Ragged People group in Moncton, who work hard to try to make a difference for the homeless community and what have you. And I noticed, John, at this event that you took a real personal interest, and you had a story to tell of something that happened personally to you. Could you relate a little bit about that for us?
Well, yeah, sure. In October, my roommate, my dear friend Giuliano, took his own life. He had been homeless for a while, has a substance use disorder, was addicted to fentanyl, and was going through some very bad personal problems. And he took his own life, and it was not a pretty night. We cut him down from a tree and worked on him until the fire department and the ambulance and police pulled me off of him, but he was gone. So it was not a good night.
And did I see you placing a leaf on the tree a little bit earlier? Mm-hmm. How did that feel for you when doing that?
It was quite special to know that other people will see it and that the name will continue. So.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the event overall? What's your overall impression?
I'm impressed. I'm glad to see a good turnout of people, the media coverage, just anything to stop stigma and bring attention to the crisis is a big deal.
Awesome. I see you shivering, and I'm not going to keep you. Thank you so much, John, for all you do and for speaking with us here today.
Thank you.
So I'm the Senior Director of Community Outreach with the YMCA.
Okay. So, Shannon, what do you think of the event that happened here? Like, what's the vibe? What do you think of what you've just witnessed here?
Yeah, I'm really grateful that we were able to create a space that was inclusive for everyone and kind of bring everyone together. It's been a hard year on top of a hard year last year, and so there's been a lot of loss, and it's important to bring everyone together and hold space for that grief and, bring that closure for the end of the year.
Good. So we've seen the basics here, the numbers and the pain that it causes to people in the community. What needs to change to make a difference so that the numbers next year might not be higher, from your perspective, frontline perspective?
100%. So, the number one thing is housing. Housing is a social determinant of health. Housing is a key piece to recovery for folks, and 60% of the loss that we had this year was due to accidental overdose. So housing and addressing our toxic drug supply are definitely the ones that would have the most impact on folks that we work with day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. On those two items, where's the progress on those two different items?
So there's lots of progress that is being made, especially with housing, looking at how many folks we've housed this year, whether it's from shelter or from encampments into housing, has been tremendous. And so really it's focusing on those little bright lights of hope that kind of exist. Unfortunately, our numbers just keep growing, and it's hard to stay on top of things or keep up with the inflow that we're experiencing, especially with our low vacancy rates in Moncton. But there is progress happening. There's lots of helpers in community, as we've seen today, that are doing their best to support those that are most vulnerable, and so it's giving weight to that as well, that there is progress being made.
Any other further thoughts? Any other further thoughts here today, or your personal highlight of the event?
I think really it was just giving a space for everyone to come together. I think especially when, sometimes loss comes in waves, and this fall and winter was a heavy time, and so sometimes it's compounded and there's no time to come up for air and to breathe and to really feel the loss or grieve or just kind of take it all in. And so I think today was an opportunity to bring everyone together, whether you're someone who's experiencing homelessness yourself, whether you're a helper in community. We've seen public health here. All the agencies have been represented today, and so I think that's a highlight, just having everyone come together as community and grieve and recognize the loss and kind of hope for a better next year.
Shannon Berry, YMCA Reconnect, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts today.
Thank you.
And we have Father Chris Van Buskirk here today, who has just presided over a community event.
I think there have been strides. There's certainly the HIFAS system has provided some help with the placement of and use of beds in shelters. But what I think we need is what representative of the turnout here this afternoon. We need neighbors and friends, more neighbors and friends for peer support in the community.
A bigger community awareness of it? Is it the idea that it's got to be beyond the experts or?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, I think. Beyond the experts, just each one of us knowing that we can do something. It may be something very little. It may be to pray. It may be to sit beside someone and listen for 10 minutes. It may be to share a coffee. It may be to knock on the door and just say, "Is everything okay?" Or it may be to say hi to that person who is sitting on a blanket, on the cold park bench, or standing huddled outside a door. It may be to say, "Hi, I see you."
What's your highlight of the event today? What's that highlight for you? Is there one?
Well, I was really grateful for the idea of the tree and the leaves. And Sheila Snyder from Mountain View United was given that idea, and it was powerful to see people just come and quietly place the leaves bearing the names of the departed on the tree. That was a highlight for me.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Father Van Buskirk, for this, and Robert McKay signing out for the NB Media Co-op here today.